This is the last video of 2023, and today I'm going to be taking the PRS Hardest Guitar Building Quiz in the World. Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. So, like many of you, maybe you watched a bunch of YouTube videos over the holiday, and I really got a chance to deep dive into what I think the PRS YouTube channel calls the archives. And I'm fascinated by that because Paul Reed Smith is an inspiration for me and has been for my entire career of building guitars. If you watch the channel for any amount of time, you know that. I have a lot of respect for Paul Reed Smith. He's one of the most successful, one of the smartest guys out there who's doing what we do, and he knows a lot about building guitars and about running a company and about marketing a company. So Paul Reed Smith is a I guess you could say he's a hero of mine. How about this? I bought his guitars, he didn't buy mine. So, but anyway, I was watching all these videos and kind of to get inspiration, because one of the things that we're working on for 2024 is our new double cutaway design. Now, double cutaway designs are something that, again, if you've been watching for a while, you know is a project that we've had on the books for a long time, and I've never really been able to come out with the design that I'm super happy about. So I'm not going to show you what's on this piece of paper right here behind me, but I will tell you that it is our new double cutaway design, and we're going to be designing it virtually with the help of Steve at Maximum Guitar Works. It's going to be a carved top. It's going to have two cutaways. We're going to call it the double cut for a long time, mostly because I rode Zorlac skateboards in the 80s, but also because there's really no point in coming up with a new name for it because it's not done yet. It's not a guitar yet. But I will be walking you guys through that process and showing you how we come up with the new double cutaway design, but just not today. Today, we're going to be talking about the PRS Hardest Guitar Building Quiz in the World. And this is a video that I started watching, like I watched the first maybe 15 seconds of. So I have no idea what to expect, but the video is, there's going to be a link to the description to the test, and you can take the test yourself. So if you don't want to watch this video, you want to go and take the test yourself, you can do that now, and then you can see what my answers were, or then you can watch the video and see what Paul answers. But I haven't seen what's happening. I'm just going to click the same link that I leave in the description, and I'm going to take the test. I'm going to walk you guys through it. We're going to get some coffee, and we're going to get started. One thing I'm going to tease one thing though. Another thing that's going to be happening for 2024 is this guy. We were calling this the Icon. This is basically a super thin acoustic guitar. This one is rosewood, and it's just in sealer. It's rosewood with a maple top and a mahogany neck with a black poison wood fretboard. It's getting a Pete Biltoff Charlie Christian pickup, and there was a time when I was like, this is all I wanted to make, and I want to get back to this because I love these guitars, and I want to start doing these again. As a matter of fact, one of the things I'm going to do today is I'm going to get this sanded down, and I think we're going to get it into paint. So by the time you see this guitar might be done. I don't know. But I forget what this, like I said, this was the Icon. I'm not sure what we're going to call it, but this is going to be a new Texas Toast model for 2024, and it's an all acoustic, bent sides and rosewood and that kind of thing. But it's going to be electric too, but nice for just strumming. It's quite small compared to an acoustic. I have no idea if this will meet my 100-ounce weight limit for the 2024 Great American Guitar Building Contest, but who knows? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. All right, so enough with this. Let's get some coffee, like I said, and let's go take the PRS Hardest Guitar Building Challenge quiz in the world, and I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are too. Okay, gang, I got my coffee here, and I just pulled the video up, and the video is called, on the PRS Guitars YouTube site, it's called Paul Reed Smith Takes the the world's toughest guitar quiz, PRS guitars. And there's a link in the description. And let's see, you can... So it says, what happens when we pit the founder of PRS Guitars himself against the expert-level PRS Guitars manufacturing quiz? Watch along as Paul runs through the quiz and tries to crunch all the numbers and figure all the answers. Did you take the quiz? How did you do in comparison to Paul? So then it's got a link to take the quiz. So we're going to go ahead and take the quiz now. You know, I've been building guitars for since 1989. I have no idea how I'm going to do. Paul Reed Smith's been doing it since the 70s. So he's got a leg up on me there in terms of and he owns the third largest guitar company in the world. So yeah, so he's got some juice. All right. Let's click the link here. And by the way, guys, link in the description below. You can take the quiz too. I'm probably going to put some of these, I'll have to put some of the questions up as we go. Let's see. So try our expert level PRS guitar manufacturing quiz. Could this be the world's most difficult quiz related to guitar making? We'll let your test score decide. Good luck. Okay, here we go. I'm a little nervous. It is estimated that only what fraction of maple trees in the United States have a level of figuring suitable enough to become Paul Reed Smith maple tops? I'm going to say it's probably the most, 1 in 10,000. Let's see. Okay, I wonder if it'll like let me know if I'm right at the very end. I was wrong. It's 1 in 1,000. Figured maple is rare. We have high standards for the maple we use. Also, we use a grading system to group tops by their level of figuring. It ranges from non-10 to private stock maple top. All right, I knew it was a high number. I estimated too high. What is the target moisture level of the wood we use at the to build a PRS body? I'm gonna guess it's between 6.5 to 9%. Let's see what we got here. And oh, I got that one right. Okay, all right, good deal. Over a series of days or weeks, we dry. This is Paul Reed Smith. We dry our mahogany and maple wood to allow it to naturally acclimate inside our climate-controlled factory. Our goal is to create resonant wood that won't crack or warp throughout the guitar building process. You know, I should probably go back and talk a little bit about what I feel about these answers too. One of the reasons that we stay in Colorado is because of the constant dry climate that we have here, especially in the wintertime. It's a very, very dry climate. I think the Paul Reed Smith factory is in Maryland. If you've ever been to Maryland, you know that it is very humid there. So I would imagine that working woods where it is very humid is something that is very different from building guitars where it's dry. You know, I learned to build guitars in Phoenix, Arizona at Roberto Venn, and it's also very, very dry there too. Let's go back one though to maple tops. Maple tops are something that we do a little bit of maple top work. We don't do a lot. We do some. There are maple tops and then there are maple tops. Now, Paul Reed Smith as a company has certainly gone above and beyond when it comes to maple tops, and the tops that you get from a PRS guitar are second to none. I like maple tops, but I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't generally like crazy figured maple, because when I was getting into Paul Reed Smith guitars in the 80s, it wasn't like something that you saw everywhere. You know what I mean? It was like, well, curly maple, flame maple, quilt maple. I don't even know if they had quilt maple in the early 80s when I was starting to get into them, or mid 80s. But it was so rare that you didn't think it was fake. Now it is so common, and there's so many veneers and so many kind of maple tops with veneer on them, or maple tops with like a picture kind of put on there to make it look more figured than it is. I like plainer tops. I still love the good stuff, but I like plain maple because I think that if it's plain maple, I'm not fooling anyone into thinking that it's something that it's not. Further into that end, the really, really expensive quilt maple and curly maple, well, they're really, really expensive. Regular soft maple is not particularly cost prohibitive. And I like maple. So if you like maple for the sound, like I do, or you like maple for the figure, I also like that too. You just have to decide what you want. Okay, let's go on to the next question and see what we got. Oh, it's right here, next. Okay. Our mahogany backs and maple tops are glued together on a press using how many pounds of pressure? Boy, okay, I don't know the answer. Let's say, okay, the 2,000, 8,000, 12,000, 23,000. Man, I don't know. Let's say 12,000. That seems like a number. I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Choose. Oh, I was wrong. It was 8,000. The amount of pressure we use to glue together our guitar bodies is equivalent to being 18,000 feet under the ocean. Well, that's pretty cool. You know, the Paul Reed Smith body and neck press that they have in the picture here is a more sophisticated version of what we use too. We have stopped using clamps to glue tops to backs. There's a bunch of old videos of us using the it's a bearing press that we got and we modified to fit bodies in. Now, one of the advantages that we have is we can get away with it with a smaller press because we don't make hundreds of guitars a day like Paul Reed Smith does. So we don't need to have this same level of sophistication when it comes to pressing. But I tell you what, the results that we get from having that press speak for themselves. All of our tops that are glued on with the press look really cool. You know, no gaps, nothing like that. The clamps always worked well, but there's something about having good even pressure that now ours has a crank and a jack. I have no idea. We just kind of crank it until glue starts squeezing out. I can tell you that on our guitars that are hollow, you don't want to put too much pressure on there because that is you could crack stuff and you could break stuff. So my guess of what was it, 12,000 was probably, I probably would bust some guitars if I started cranking it down to what is almost 2 times what they use at PRS. Okay, let's go to the next one. The Paul Reed Smith Custom 24 fretboard features birds with center fill material. How many separate pieces of inlay are used to create these birds? Boy, I have no idea. There's 11 pieces of inlay on a 22 fret guitar. So a 24 fret guitar would have to have 12, if I'm remembering correctly. And it looks like there's one like a pearl thing, and then maybe another one that goes around. So I'm gonna go with a fairly high number here. Let's go with the 47. That's the highest number there is. Let's see how right I am. No, 32. I was thinking it was going to be 32. Between the outlines and fill material, the inlay pieces come together a bit like a puzzle. One employee can inlay approximately 100 fretboards in a workday. That's pretty impressive. Okay. All right. Inlay. As you guys know, we don't do a lot of inlay here. But we do. One of the reasons that we actually had to buy a CNC machine was because we wanted to do our own inlay work. Doing inlay was something that we didn't necessarily want to do, and we would outsource all of our inlay work. And it got to the point where we were telling people no on inlay so often that it just made sense for us to buy a machine to do all of our own inlay work. So our CNC machine is primarily used for inlay work because it's a smaller CNC machine. But so if you were wondering if you can get a Texas Toast guitar with inlay, of course you can. But don't ask us to do birds. That's kind of a Paul Reed Smith thing, and that's their thing. Let them have that one. Okay, next question. How many working days does it take to build a neck for a core series PRS like the Custom 24 or the McCarty? I think I know this one. I think it's 30 plus because I remember from an old video that it was something like that. Let's see if I'm right. No, it actually takes 10 to 14 days. And it says, in theory, a PRS neck could be made in much less time. We intentionally allocate extra time between manufacturing steps to allow the neck to stabilize. This prevents shifting and warping from neck over the guitar's lifespan. Okay, this is something that has never really been an issue for us because we do a lot of neck work, and but we do it all in stages. So all of the necks are kind of by accident here at Texas Toast, allowed to acclimate to after being machined for many days, and sometimes many months. Not because we feel that that's absolutely necessary to let a neck sit with a truss rod slot and the outline cut and the headstock shape for 10 months. It just so happens that it works out that way. But letting your material rest in between manufacturing processes is a great idea, especially if you're using a single piece of mahogany, like for a neck like Paul Reed Smith does and like we do. Now, on our level 1 and level 2 necks, those have 3-piece maple necks, so the wood is different. And we let those sit for quite a while. Actually, Steve at Maximum Guitar Works does all the heavy lifting on those. But they don't just kind of fall together. There's a bunch of work that goes into those, and there's a bunch of blanks that are ready to go, and then they sit for a while, and then they get machined, and so it takes a while for that to happen. But yeah, the idea of letting things rest in between manufacturing is something that we do more of as just the way that we build guitars, rather than because it's never been a big thing for us, because again, we don't make the same number of guitars that they make at Paul Reed Smith. Okay, let's go to the next question. How thick is the nitro top coat on a USA PRS guitar? Wow, I'm gonna say, I wonder if that's before wet sanding or after wet sanding. I'm gonna go with, boy, my gut says it's number 2. I think it's 4 thousandths. Let's see. I'm actually right. Okay. For reference, the thickness of the average human hair or sheet of paper is 3 thousandths. Our goal is a thin, hard, and clear finish. This helps maximize the resonance of the guitars. So as you guys know, we do not spray any lacquer, nitrocellulose, or acrylic. But the whole idea of any finish is that it be thin. Now, and again, remember I was asking, I wonder if that's between, like, when it gets sprayed on or after wet sanding and buffing. Wet sanding and buffing, of course, removes finish. And if you do a gloss top coat, you have to, there's going to be orange peel, and you have to buff it. You have to wet sand and you have to buff it. One of our more popular videos that we did is called "If You Don't Paint Your Guitars This Way, You're Stupid," or something like that. And the only reason we called the video that was because we wanted to see if people would watch it, and they did. Man, you guys would be, if you've ever read the comment section on that video, there is some hate being spewed at us by people. I see flaws in it. Well, yeah, anytime you just spray paint on something, there's going to be flaws. You have to wet sand and then you have to buff to get it that mirror-like finish that you come to, that we have all as guitar players come to expect on modern instruments. Now, our 73 finish is done a little differently, but the gloss finish guitar, I don't care who you are, no matter how clean it looks, there's going to be some orange peel. So for all the people who said I see flaws in that, you really, yes you do, and you don't know what you're talking about, because all of those guitars get wet sanded and buffed because that's the way that you do it. Anyway, there's no, you know what, the internet is a fun place. Okay, a Paul Reed Smith 5815 pickup, I have no idea what that is, contains approximately how many feet of copper wire? I'm going to go with the biggest number because I don't know anything about pickups. If Dylan were here, he'd probably know the answer. The biggest number is over 4,000 feet. Let's see how we do here. Hey, I got it right. Okay, that was just a guess, you guys. That's equivalent to almost a little over 0.8 of a mile, or 1.3 kilometers. A lot of wire fit neatly into a single pickup. All right, cool. So I had no idea there was that much wire, but I knew it was more than 9 feet. So yeah, all right. So I had a chance. Okay, next question. Our master color list contains every guitar color we have ever offered. How many colors are on that list? Oh boy, you know, Paul Reed Smith has been making guitars since 1985. I'm gonna say more than 6. I'm gonna say the biggest number. Again, I have no idea. Oh, and that's actually the right number. Which, when you think about it, every single custom color Paul Reed Smith has ever done in 40 years of guitar building, I'm sure it's a lot. Printed out, this document is over 6 feet tall in any given model year. A core series PRS is typically offered in 6 to 14 color options. Well, that's actually pretty neat. You know, all of our color options are done one at a time, unless they're opaque colors. But all of our see-through, transparent candy colors, Chris mixes those up one at a time, and they're I'm not gonna say they're different every time, but they're unique every time. Okay, so what we call the Fesker burst, or we used to call it the Hamer burst, we can make those look very similar. Of course, the wood that you use, if you have a very light or very white piece of maple versus a darker or yellower piece of maple, exactly the same colors getting sprayed on that wood makes them look a little different. So matching those, matching the colors to where they look right to our eye, even though they might be a different formula, you know, the amount of paint or the amount of dye mixed into the to the vehicle, the paint. Again, it's not lacquer, acrylic, or nitrocellulose. It's a two-part paint it's a DB750 or Intercoat Clear. That's a story for another day. Anyway, that can be different from guitar to guitar. So, you know, so if I'm not saying that we did this, but if we painted more than 800 guitars a year, they would all kind of be different if they were all translucent colors. Okay. All right, let's see. How many more questions can there possibly be? He says, the next one is, in standard tuning, approximately how many pounds of tension are on all 6 guitar strings? I think that's 110 to 120. I just think that. And that's what it is. I don't know why that number just immediately popped to my head, but it did. If you change the guitar's tuning or pitch, the tension changes. Other variables like scale length and string gauge affect the tension on your instrument. All of our guitars are shipped with, I don't know about Paul Reed Smith, but I can tell you that at Texas Toast, they all ship with 10s. And they all ship at standard concert pitch, regular 440 or whatever. I can tell you what though, we build a lot of guitars that aren't 24 3/4. So ours are different from Paul Reed Smith because of course he's got a bunch of different scales too. But our standard scale is 24 3/4. We make standard Fender style stuff too. That's 25 1/2. We've built baritone guitars. We built basses. And things like that. But one of the neatest experiments that we ever did, I believe Rod Harris owns this one, was the Marauder that we built, and we tuned it down to C, I think. Man, that was a fun guitar to play. No, we didn't tune it to C. I think we just tuned it to D. I can't remember, but gosh, it was really fun. And the one of the things that I didn't know was how neat the out of phase sounds in a lower tuning like that. So that was a learning experience for me. All right, next question. Through our manufacturing process, how many unique PRS employees work/touch one guitar and its parts and components? Gosh. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the biggest number. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go with the second to biggest number. Let's say 58. Let's see. No, I should have gone with that. I should have gone with the big number. Okay. It says here, a lot of hands and love go into every PRS instrument. Some departments that feature the most hands on a signature guitar are body sanding and finish teams. Okay, well, I absolutely get that. You know how many people touch our level 3 and 4 guitars? Two guys. It's me and Chris. Our level 1s and 2s, as you know, Steve at Maximum Guitar Works helps us out with those. So the number is still very, very small. I would estimate that it's probably 1 or 2 guys at Steve's shop, and then Chris and myself. So on our level 3 and 4, there's 2 pairs of hands that touch it, mine and Chris. And our level 1s and 2s, I think that number goes up a little bit, maybe doubles, maybe 4 or 5. That's a good question, though. I would like to know the answer to that, though I don't know why. Okay, all right, next question here. Let's go. Let's keep going. There can't be many more of these, right? It says, okay, I got 50% right. It says, oof, maybe you should try again. We told you that this is a toughie. Now let's improve that score on round 2. Okay, so that was a fun quiz, and it was cool to for me to talk a little bit about how we do things, as opposed to, now that I know the answers to the Paul Reed Smith quiz, I don't know what I'm going to do with that information, but it was fun, and it's a fun video. So now I'm going to go and watch the video. I encourage you to watch that video too. I encourage you to take the quiz. Wait, but you should take the quiz after. Don't take the quiz, and now that I told you all the answers, now you go get 100%, and what do you win? So anyway, so I could probably, I clearly, I'm not going to get offered a job at Paul Reed Smith anytime soon. That's okay, because I very, very much am in love with the work that we do here at Texas Toast Guitars. I'm not planning on going anywhere. We're looking forward to 2024, and so this is a very timely video for us to kind of catch up on some things that maybe look back at 2023, which was a terrific year for us, and it's all thanks to you guys. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. This is Matt at Texas Toast, reminding you that life is short. You might as well have a cool guitar, and so when you're ready to get your next cool guitar, think Texas Toast, and we'll be there for you. We'll see you soon, guys. Have a great new year, and I look forward to hanging out with you in 2024.